more about that.
Most certainly, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom right-hand corner, spawning as the blue Terran player representing Team Fnatic, winning game number 1 with an excellent timing push once those ghosts were out on the field, and his opponent, who was taking a third at the time, didn't stand much of a chance despite a couple of good storms. We have Fnatic's Naama, who's currently 1-0 up against his opponent, spawning as the red Protoss player in the top left-hand corner. Will this be his year? He's looking to come and see if he can do a couple of really good tournament performances. Wouldn't mind starting that off, though, with a show match win. Down a game, can easily come back, though. Let's see if he does it. It is Harstem.
Hashtag year of Harstem coming up, no doubt, but currently Naama not letting it go that way, and well, as we're seeing, both these two players being fairly normal, nothing crazy going off quite yet, which is to be expected on this map. It's not exactly an ideal map for going for, say, a proxy 2-gate or 2 racks. Even though it's a 2-player map, it's quite a long way, but as I say that, Naama's pulling 2 SCVs.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. So
that's cast a curse if it ever hit me.
Yep. So, Naama going for a little bit of what I would describe what he does best. Just a little bit of Bree out here in game number 2. He's currently 1 game up, and throwing in just a little bit of cheese. Now, this could be a good time to do it. I mean, at the end of the day, Harstem might have been expecting an all-in with an SCV pull sooner in game number 1, if we go off what Naama is normally quite good at and what he's known for. So, Harstem's going, well, hang on a second, Naama just beat me in a macro game, therefore he might be getting a little bit comfortable, and he'd be happy going into another macro game to try and win the same way. And as a result, Naama's going for the cheese.
So maybe if he thought that he was going to, but then didn't, but maybe he will, but then he doesn't, but he did. Oh,
these guys are teammates as well, guys. Yeah, no, mind games between teammates are so much worse than mind games against any other opponent, simply because you play so many games against each other so often that it's very difficult to throw your opponent off guard. And Naama is currently doing this by, of course, making exclusively Marines. There aren't any Reapers in this opening. No gas has been taken inside his main base. And is he pulling 2 more SCVs?
He is. The SCVs are coming. What's he going to be doing? It's all getting pretty tense, pretty scary. The Marines are on their way out. There is 1 gate at the moment, which rallies around the edge of the base. Clearly, Harstem is just like, there may be something hidden there. I don't want any of this occurring right now. This
isn't really an SCV train so much as an SCV caboose. It's like a couple of SCVs, but not enough for me to legitimately call it a train. And here we go.
It's like an SCV truck.
SCV truck, I like it. Bunker going down at the ramp. Are we going to get another bunker going down? The problem is the mothership core is now out. It doesn't, of course, have enough energy at the moment for that photon overcharge. Harstem pulling a lot of probes right now. That Zealot, he needs to try and keep alive as much as possible. Mothership core trying to get a couple of SCV kills here, and more Marines spilling in from Naama, trying to end game number 2 very, very quickly. That bunker is going to have to get cancelled. There we go. 6 Marines currently doing a decent amount of damage. How much energy is on that mothership core? 71. He needs 100 for an overcharge, a very long way off. The first bunker is complete, and Naama has Harstem effectively contained right now.
Yes, this is something you don't see too often, a bunker, just making sure you can't do anything. Interestingly, that bunker will be out of range of the photon overcharge as well, which means there's no easy way for Harstem to take it out, which could be a little bit of a problem for him. But the second gas being taken, now the mothership core moving forward, 3 gateways will be a lot of production, but still Marines are being pumped, and that bunker is still looking fairly irritating.
Yeah, it really is. He's actually got his expansion behind this, and he's pulled the SCVs back into his main base as well, so electing not to build a second bunker. He's happy to keep Harstem contained on the 1 base as long as humanly possible, and just making... He's actually rallying Marines back to his main base now.
Oh, he's moving out. He's going to try and take out the bunker, and he is going to get it. That is a massive snipe there. That is absolutely huge.
You're right. That was really, really well done from Naama. And the photon overcharge did get used as that mothership core was on 100 energy, but that is the last time it's getting used for quite a while. Really unfortunate situation there for Harstem. And Naama is now going to get up to an economic lead as well. He'll be able to get double mules and more SCVs down at his natural expansion significantly faster than Harstem can get his own natural.
Now, Harstem is in a lot of trouble here, but I like what he's doing. He's getting out the tech, he's using the double gas, basically doing a 1-base play as best as possible. This bunker will now go down. Photon overcharge is still in effect. It should get cut off fairly soon, though. It should... Yeah, there we go. So it was literally just a couple of seconds remaining. And as we can see now, Harstem should be able to clean this out and could potentially go and take his natural base. But everything has been seen already by Naama. He knows the robotics facilities coming down, knows about the 3 gateways. Only thing he doesn't see is the second gas.
And we've got the barracks have been floating back to the natural expansion all this time, and they will be able to land and have a couple more units get in there. Notice that there was a 3rd barracks back at home. Very important to continue that marine production while those barracks are out of commission as well. And Harstem is going to want to do some damage with this follow-up push. He knows his expansion is being delayed. He knows that this army from Naama was out in the middle of the map. Those 2 barracks were there as well. So his production will be delayed, but a 3rd bunker going down now as well.
And there's quite a few Marines here as well. SCV's getting pulled already just to make sure the repair can go down. And pushing up with so few Stalkers, I don't think is going to be viable for Harstem at the moment. He's going to need a lot more units if he is going to go for it. Alternatively, he's got to just make sure that he gets his own economy going behind this. And the one good thing that actually Naama's done is he built that missile turret just in case DTs were incoming.
He's got... Yeah, no, that's a great point, actually, because following this kind of push up with some sort of cheese would not actually be that bad, because at the end of the day, Naama's cut a lot of quarters to put on that early aggression, so without that missile turret there, DTs could actually be incredibly frustrating for him at this point. He's got, though, +1 attack, and he got that before Stim. Now, I actually find this an interesting decision, because if when he got 100 gas, he got Stim first, Stim takes more time to research than +1 attack, albeit not by too much. So to have them time out, I would expect him to actually research him the other way around.
It's an interesting choice. I'm guessing it's just due to the fact that he wants to play more defensive, and he can use the bunkers more effectively there. But ultimately, it's something which is a bit more uncommon, but I don't think it's massively game-changing in all effect. But there's only about a 35-second difference between them. The mothership core getting remade finally, though, for Harstem. We've also got charge coming down yet again. The robotic facility has just been used to pump out observers for the time being, and only one of them. And this is probably going to be a follow-up with most likely High Templar yet again.
Yep, going up to 5 gateways again in the main base. Charge coming down, so Harstem going for very, very similar play to what we saw in the previous game. The worker supply is currently 46 to 42 in favor of Naama, who is also just about ahead in supply at 69 to 64. And this is at the 11-minute mark, of course, because there was a lot of early game aggression, which really interrupted both players meckering up normally.
Well, where we're sitting at now is a very, very interesting spot in the game. Currently, Harstem is behind by 4 workers, but only 4. They are both on equal gas. We do have the factory going off to scout, so it's going to be an infantry-heavy composition. We've got the medevacs coming out already. We've got the armory ready for +2 to start. The second engineering day is now down, so 2-1 can get down very, very early on. So Naama seems to be aiming for a very good mid-game to late-game composition.
3 more barracks coming down from him as well. So, and he's got the armory coming down too, so he'll be able to get more upgrades once that is done. Do we see... Yes, the second engineering bay is already complete, so he will be able to start that +2 attack when he can, and medevac production is now starting as well. That's going to be very, very crucial going later on into this game.
Now, as expected, the Templar Archives is on its way down here for Harstem. He's also got +2 ground armor. He hasn't yet invested in any attack, and the reason you get a lot of armor upgrades is if you're against Marines, obviously there are high attack speed, armor's a lot more effective. So this is all good play at the moment. 2 Zealots getting trapped outside of the rock tower, though. I'm surprised Naama didn't just take them out, because they were essentially free.
Yep, a little bit... Oh, wow, sending in an empty medevac to scout, making it look like a drop, possibly drawing the army out of position here. We'll see what Harstem decides to do. Yes, that medevac is going towards the left-hand side of the map, and all of a sudden this 3rd base location is looking a lot more naked, but Naama behind this, actually, is just moving back home. Curious.
Mind games everywhere. It's just like, I could be dropping you. You will never know. And forcing a photon cannon. So I guess forcing a photon cannon for nothing is technically worth it.
Oh, feedback on the medevac, but it's an empty medevac, and 3 Stalkers are going to see to it that it dies. But I don't think there's any way for Harstem to know at the moment that medevac was actually empty and a bit of a decoy. On the flip side, though, it really didn't do anything, and I was expecting that decoy to be the front of another attack, like if Naama was going to head in and try and snipe off the 3rd Nexus, for example. But as it stood, that medevac, aside from a little bit of scouting, didn't really serve too much purpose.
The really nice thing Harstem's doing, though, is he's defending that third just with vision. He's got 3 observers just sitting comfortably at every way in. He's got complete vision of any drops that could come through, any ground push in towards the rocks. So he's very much aware of any movement Naama makes, just as we saw in Game 1.
Yeah. Oh, and a hallucinated Void Ray. An interesting choice here. And Yabi's going to know that that's a hallucination. That went down very, very quickly indeed. I think the idea was possibly to let the Void Ray be seen, but not actually get attacked by anything, which would make Naama question whether or not a Stargate was actually there. But he's pretty sure that he's not actually facing Stargate play at the moment.
Yeah, Stargate play would be a bit more of an unusual choice against Terran. If it was against Zerg, it'd be very, very common. But currently, we can see that a lot of Ghosts are out. Yet again, I believe this was actually a blind counter. There was no sign of the Twilight Council or the Templar Archive. So just unless it was sheerly by the fact that he didn't see any Colossi out, it could be a reason. But maybe it's just a game, because they're teammates. They know what each other favor, and Naama knows Harstem favors High Templar.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, actually, because if Harstem was going for Colossi right now, the total number of Vikings out on the field is approximately 0 medals. So a couple of Colossi would potentially do good, and amusingly, just as I say that, a second robotics facility and a robotics bay goes down. So maybe in this game, we're going to see an earlier switch-up as far as tech is concerned. The question, though, is whether he'll be able to hold off this next push from Naama, which is looking pretty fearsome.
Well, the 2-1 upgrades are done on both sides, just differing on whether it's the armor or attack, which is up to 2. But this, like we saw in Game 1, can be a very, very scary push. Interestingly, though, SCV train coming in.
Oh dear, there come the SCVs across the middle of the map, Maddles. You know what this means. Knock knock, choo choo, GG. Can he do it? Taking out the rocks at the third. This is going to be the location of the final battle. There's no way Colossi are coming out in time, but he has got Psionic Storm, and this is a pretty good-looking choke.
It is a very good-looking choke. There goes down some force fields.
Oh!
So
that was disgusting. Force fields plus Storm. About half of that, I would say about a quarter of that army getting trapped there, and a lot of it not getting picked up and being trapped. Really, really good job there from Harstem. He needs to continuously do it for a bit more, though, and EMP's coming in on a lot of those units from those Ghosts who are leading the pack. No feedbacks on the Ghosts, unfortunately. And, oh, more High Templar getting sniped. That's huge.
They are going down. Some storms are hitting the SCVs, not becoming the tanking layer that they need to be. Instead, following the infantry. Some good storms are being hit here by Harstem. He's actually engaging. Okay, another good storm. Yet a third one, dealing so much damage. His infantry starting to look quite a lot smaller, but so is the Warp Gate army. Only a few units remaining on each side, but I think Harstem is going to be able to hold.
Oh, this is so close. This is skin of the teeth stuff. That Bi army was technically large enough to take it out if they were at full health, but they were so depleted. And Harstem holds 129 supply to 75. He is up now 70 workers to 34 because of that SCV pull, and he's got extended thermal lance on the way and 2 Colossi coming out simultaneously. They are going to be the heroes of this army now.
They will be. And I've just thought, do you remember for the April Fool's joke, what Blizzard did to all the workers in-game? What did they turn them into?
I do believe it was Warhounds.
Imagine how much Naama must have loved that day.
That would have been brilliant. Oh my god, Warhound rushing with those workers. That's actually a great